So cool. So big.
Oh, but it's one of those things where, like, because we talked about it in our family, like the kids, two of my kids got sick, and like they were really sick, so of course we got them tested. Well, one of them got tested a couple of weeks and came back negative, but we're just like, it's like you're waiting, you know, that there's a jump scare out there in the movie. And you're just, I was just waiting for it.
I love that. I love the idea there's a jump scare coming. Or the other metaphor I've heard that I really liked was you're on the back wall and you're playing dodgeball and all the guys in the front.
Yeah, they've all been taken out.
Yeah, they've all been taken out.
Yeah.
That metaphor touches some deep part of me that is like, okay.
I think my husband got it at work, I think.
And he brought it home.
He works in Salt Lake City. He's like a technical trainer. Yeah. And he's told me like, so like a few days before, I was like, oh, where is lady talking to her husband was home with COVID. And she was at work without a mask.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, geez.
Yeah, well, because you always hear, you know, my kids have heard, like, my one daughter, half of her friends were sick.
Yeah.
Like half of them got sick, so for sure I had
I
it.
thought my daughter would bring her home from school, honestly, but she wears a mask. Like,
Yeah,
so I thought I'd get it at you, but
Yeah.
nope.
Well, according to the official numbers, BYU, 7% of BYU has had it since January. In the last month.
Wow.
And if those are the official numbers, that's people who have reported it.
Right.
Right.
Oh, it's way higher
It's
than
probably
that.
going to be 2 or 3 times higher.
I would think so.
40%.
I would think so.
So I think it's like 1 in 5.
Yeah, I agree, or 1 in 4. I mean, I
This
don't
meeting
know.
is being recorded.
So, okay.
Okay.
Let's behave ourselves now.
Yeah, it honestly wasn't that bad. I don't like to downplay it because I know it's really serious
Right,
for a lot of people, but it really wasn't.
Yeah.
My sister was sick last year with like, you know.
Hi, Debbie.
When she was sick, it wasn't that
I
bad.
think
Yeah.
I'm not quite.
You're not connected yet?
Yeah. It caught us.
Yeah.
I was like,
Look at that order. My other multi-channel, you have the template.
Okay.
Is someone join?
Updates on that.
So Debbie is joining. It looks like she's on her way to Heber or something like that. Debbie, can you hear us?
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Debbie, can you hear us? In the car, so
Debbie is muted.
it might be a danger. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for joining us. We know you're in the car.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me at all?
Yes, we heard that. Good. Great. Can you hear us? We can hear you. One of the things that I'd like to know from Debbie is that she has got her assignment. Do you know that, Matt?
No.
Okay.
So where were you?
Hey, Debbie, do you have your committee assignment for the year? My read of the email traffic was that Paul is not like even by Zoom, right? Yeah. Okay. Do you know anything about his wife's situation? I'm just checking with him. All right. Our agenda, this is a reminder, is fairly robust tonight. Are we ready to start?
Yes, you can start.
After your toes have been filled for a while, that's all that comes rushes to them.
We have a request to reorder the agenda to focus on Utah Lake and Utah Lake Authority, and we had dedicated 20 minutes in the agenda for that. So let's start with that. And Matt, do you want to start with an update as to where
Sure.
we are on the city side?
Yeah, so last city council meeting, we had a work session. I was requested by the administration to provide an overview of the lake development issue. That went on the agenda per your request and suggestion to discuss that. However, when it was noticed, they noticed it as Utah Lake Authority, and very quickly I tried to tie those two topics together so it could be legally noticed. And talk about the Utah Lake Authority proposal, which I'll update you on in a moment, and how the general development issues tie into that. So I could kill two birds with one stone without having to renotice things. So the discussion sort of expanded at the council meeting, and I'm not sure why they put the authority on there. I don't know if that's because it was a misinterpretation.
Was that Jamie that phrased it that way?
I'm not sure. I don't get invited to exec staff, and so I'm not sure how
Okay.
these things end up. I started out with a very brief presentation, and very goal for me was to stay very high level. One expert's opinion versus another expert's opinion rarely coincides. So I didn't want to get into the weeds about different specific stated problems that have been cited by individuals in the community, and just try to keep it high level. Hey, here's the big picture of what this developer wants to do. There's some general concerns. We also, I mentioned the Utah Lake Authority. This is a proposal, Darren and I chatted a little bit about it. HB 232, I believe, just came out last week. The formal language, and overall it dissolves the Utah Lake Commission, creates a Utah Lake Authority, allows them to basically there's some discrepancy. It says a 19-member board. I only count 15 listed positions, so there's ambiguity about what that those missing 4 positions are for me, or if that on potential.
Sorry, it crashed for some reason.
A reminder.
The lake authority may impose on and collect from a sewer connection owner a charge of no more than $2 per month for a sewer connection. They can put a $2 levy on every sewer connection
Oh,
that
wow.
anywhere in the.
Is that within the authority
water thing?
boundaries or the county boundaries?
It's, Brammer intends it to be the county.
That's,
So
like I
yes,
said, there's a lot of details.
they have already given themselves taxing authority. When I talked to Brammer, he says his goal is to fund this thing at about $2 to $5 million a year. And the current Utah Lake Commission is about $800,000 a year. And you know, I don't know about all these scenarios that Matt is spinning, how realistic they are or whatever, but when I talked to him, yeah, provides for Utah Lake Authority paid certain sales tax revenue and other sources of revenue, provides for allowable avenue uses of revenue. Yeah, so I mean, maybe it could get bigger, but in the short term, he would hope it would have $2 to $5 million budget.
And there's no municipal representation, right, on the Utah Lake Authority?
Yes,
Well,
there is.
There is, okay.
Yeah.
There is on the commission.
So, yeah, no, there's quite a bit of municipal. So as you know, Matt was saying 7 of the 15 or whatever are state level, but the rest are local level.
Okay.
So for example, here's the list of places that has a seat, right? That Orem has a seat, Vineyard has a seat, Saratoga Springs has a seat, Lehigh has a seat, etc.
Okay.
Do you know when this bill will be voted on? But it's scheduled for this session.
The Utah County Council of Governments shall appoint 8 board members, at least one of them should be an individual. Yeah.
I'm not an expert at state legislative process. It typically go to a committee first for review, and there'll be several iterations. This will probably be revised at least once, if not 2 or 3 times, before exiting committee, and then then it goes to the full legislature. So, and a lot of times these bills are out there. They sort of get stuck in the process until the final weeks or days, and then there's a big rush to push everything out in the last couple of days of legislature. So, that's not to say it couldn't be voted on earlier, but I could follow a little closer on where it's at in the process. I haven't done that yet.
I'm following it pretty closely.
Is there any reason to have a Utah Lake Authority except to facilitate development?
To facilitate cleanup.
So you could have a cleanup-based authority that is not interested in that.
Correct. I think my read of this, and like I said, I've talked to Brammer, I've talked to opponents, and I've read it. My read of this is that it provides wide latitude to do what you want, to do environmental things, to do development, to do both. And so it basically concentrates authority and creates more authority, the kind of taxing stuff and the revenue streams that we've been talking about.
And does it report to anybody?
That is a
It
good
is a
question.
report to the first couple of years. They report directly to the legislative body, as I remember reading it. As far as going forward, I mean, not any more than any other city. Political subdivisions, if the state legislature doesn't like what they're doing, they'll sweep in and change the law. Just to sum up the council meeting where we're at, I had volunteered to draft the resolution. However, that assignment was reassigned to one of our city attorneys, and I have seen an early draft that I'm not allowed to share because it's under great revision now for direction from Jamie Davidson, who's trying to coordinate with council members on it, as far as I know. The focus, though, The focus a lot is around the Utah Lake Authority issues. Again, I have no idea how this is going to change, but a lot of concerns with local control and the state pulling strings over local authorities and their representation on the commission. So I think there'll be a heavy emphasis on the resolution on that. How much is specifically focused on
Against the authority.
I think that's where it's at today.
Okay.
How much of the resolution will end up being a general statement of philosophically where should the lake go? I don't know yet. Should it be restored to a natural state? Should it be a hybrid of recreational and natural state? Should it be developed so to help facilitate a human needed restoration? So where I don't think this resolution will end up supporting outright development of the lake. I think there's a lot of hesitancies and concerns about it on the council. You know, you're in a city council meeting, you have 7 opinions, and half of them you're trying to divine because they're not speaking up or articulating exactly what they think well or at all. And so I really don't know collectively where the council, but my sense is there's a general concern about not just the authority, but general concern with the development lake approach to solve issues or restore the lake in the way that they envision it. How much that's going to come forward in the resolution, I don't know yet. But it's scheduled for Tuesday.
It's scheduled for
Council meeting Tuesday.
On the regular agenda?
Both, I believe.
So what does both mean?
The work
I
session
see.
and the
Thank you.
council.
To vote on a resolution on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It would be very helpful for us to see that resolution.
Yeah, I don't know when I'd be able to share that with you. It may not be until it's publicly posted. I don't even have it.
So the question that comes to mind, given our role, we've done 2 things so far. We have made a recommendation.
Well, you haven't formally made a recommendation. You had a suggestion that they talk about it at your last meeting.
Debbie, during the retreat, shared that this was an item of interest for us.
Correct. And I also communicated out of your retreat that you suggested they started considering a resolution. That's why I ended up on council. But if you recall, we couldn't have you formally
Because it
vote
wasn't
on a
on the
recommendation because it was not on the agenda.
But it is on the agenda today.
Yes, correct.
And so, Matt, given where the city council and the attorney are in the process, are they still looking for input from us?
I don't know. My suggestion is to forward the recommendation as a plan, formalize it. I would probably, if I was on the commission, which I'm not, or committee here, then my recommendation is stay high level, stay out of the weeds, recommend a general direction of where you believe things should go. You know, maybe 3 or 4 sentences at the most, and request that the council consider that as part of their resolution on Tuesday.
Okay.
That's my suggestion.
Thank you for the suggestion. So Darren, since this is a topic that you've done a lot of work on, would you be willing to be scribe and helping us think through some wording
Sure.
of a potential resolution? Or is there general interest in resolution today?
Yes.
So my interests, I think, are very general here, which are that I have concerns about development on the lake. And I would urge us to be deeply cautious about supporting any development on the lake. And I have concerns that interventions that are parallel to development will have negative ecological effects. And would urge the council to do everything possible to resist efforts at development and simultaneously preserve the ecological integrity.
Do you want to define development? Because I think there may be some hybrid model where, you know, development of recreational facilities is considered, is that development or is that not development?
Good question. Well, let's open it up.
So, I, see, I'm a little bit conflicted about this because I think that Utah Lake needs resources to get better. I mean, we're definitely making it better. We're definitely helping it get better. But from what I can tell, most efforts to make it better are starved of resources. The commission can cobble together a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there, so in that sense, the Utah Lake Authority looks a little bit attractive to me in a sense because it actually provides a pipeline for resources. So, but that also makes it a little bit scary because what is the authority going to use the money for? As far as so, regarding the Utah Lake Authority, I do like the idea of a lot of local control. I don't want to shut the door on the Utah Lake Authority because, but I would be interested in emphasizing something about the importance of local control because I think that the state would have more sort of development-oriented interests that local people might be a little bit more skeptical about. Though that's not guaranteed.
That's not guaranteed because we know that, for example, the mayor of Vineyard is very pro-development.
Right. Yeah, it's not guaranteed. I agree. It's not guaranteed. I mean, the state representation would not be totally pro-development either, I don't think, because the Division of Environmental Quality is have a seat on the board, and the FFS, whatever that is, has a seat apparently. The fish, fowl, water, something.
Forestry, I think.
Yeah, forestry. That's another F. Yeah. So, as I read the bill, it's not a dead letter on the start. I am willing to talk about this. And in fact, it actually includes some language in here. It includes language in here about, and I just sent this to you, Matt. It includes language that more or less outlaws what the island people want to do. It says that nothing in this bill shall facilitate the exchange of land within the boundaries of the lake for any kind of cleanup purpose. So it's actually got kind of poison pill in there against the islands people, which is interesting to me and makes me more interested in it. I'm a little bit down in the weeds, sorry, but I'm trying to say, that. So what would my principles be? My principles would be local control and emphasis on being very careful about our developments. But I am attracted by the idea of a lake that would have a place where a family could go to a beach and swim and picnic and take out even a jet ski or something like that without, so if you ask me, do I like some recreational development on the lake? Yes. I would like well-planned, well-executed, less ecologically sensitive lake recreational development. I don't see that. I see that as actually a benefit. So that's my view. I'm happy to hear other views.
My view is similar to Darren's. I also would be in favor of having recreational development, and I think that's going to further people's relationship with the lake and just put more resources and have people care about it more, which is going to, I think, help in the long run. Because right now it's not really that user friendly to the public, and I think it'd be awesome. So I'm with Darren.
Okay, so I think we need to think what kind of message we want to convey at this particular moment in time.
I think if we talk about Utah Lake being like a resource for our communities and how we want to bring people to the lake and making sure that we can use it and have access to it, and it's local control, like Aaron was. It seems like a good way to.
Maybe we could use language, Darren, that says that one of our greatest,
I forgot my note taking. I got into my speech roll.
one of our greatest natural resources over which we have collective stewardship is Utah. So we're echoing our purpose as a committee. And we urge City of Rome to pass a resolution prior to legislative action in the Utah legislature this session that supports the following principles. So, ecological integrity, caution with respect to residential or commercial development, and furthering opportunities for residents of Orem and Utah County to recreate and enjoy. But I think we want to send a message that we are skeptical of development. I personally am very, very cautious about development.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I am too. I like those, Quinn. I got ecological integrity. Thank you. That was the word I missed. That's a nice word. Ecological integrity, caution or extreme caution with respect to residential and commercial development. But thinking about opportunities or pursuing opportunities to improve residents' enjoyment of the lake. Something like that. But as long as those pursuing opportunities for residents to enjoy the lake in ways that minimize ecological harm, something like that.
Can you say like ensuring public and local access to the lake?
Oh, right, and then local authority, right. And then ensuring public and local access, yeah. I mean, I like that.
So when you get to a point where you feel like you have words you're satisfied with, will you read it and decide if we're ready to go?
Yes.
Sounds like you're on a good track. You want to finish up on it?
Is this consistent with your?
Yeah. If you send that to me and Rachel when you're done, and then we'll get it in a form.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate all your
Yeah.
careful consideration of all this stuff. Yeah.
Thanks.
Take care.
Do you want to do that now, or do you want to do that parallel processing with some of our other stuff?
I can do parallel processing. I will try. They say that that's actually physically impossible, and I kind of believe them. Or to the extent it might be women might be better at men, so I'll just hand this to you guys. But I will try.
I'm not great with it.
Okay. Well, just let us know when we're ready to move to
Okay.
a resolution. Okay.
Yeah.
Given that our time, I just wanted to go through some of these shorter agenda items. Last time, I didn't yet share the results of our retreat on energy. So I wanted to just share the synthesis of what we had discussed there. So there are three topics that came out of our prioritization exercise with respect to energy. One had to do with awards, which is convenient because I'm also in charge of awards. So one thing we could do is flag energy savings as part of our business awards, right, for residential. Although kind of a cool idea associated with that was that maybe over time our awardees could mentor other businesses. So mentorship program from businesses that are getting this right for those that are learning. Which I think is kind of a cool idea. I think we might be a little ways away from that because we need a pool of potential mentors. And we can use our award system to help identify that pool. The second big category was energy education. And so I wanted to open up a little bit of a discussion on this. There are some specific ideas that we had for ways to educate the community. Solar, LEDs, smart thermostats, heat pumps, as well as highlighting some of the green team efforts in the city and the way that our energy consumption intersects with air quality. That requires smart people who know what they're talking about. I was wondering if you can see particular venues for us to do that. I know you've been involved in these efforts forever, Sarah. Is this a social media post kind of education, or do you want to do something different?
I'm remembering back to when I wanted to have some kind of education station at the library that was just, available and have a solar panel where you can interact in real time with energy and kids coming and families coming and learn more about how solar panels work and see in real time, to make it more of an interactive display, but that's not a likely option at this point.
Didn't mean the library thing.
Yeah, it's just not a focus right now.
But the idea of having an educational opportunity is still on the table.
I'm a multi-sensory learner myself, so
I want to touch the solar panel.
yeah, I know.
I always think the farmer's market is good, but that's just because I like to go to them. Like if we had a booth at the farmer's market and we could rotate what we're talking about, it's fun.
And
Bring us over.
this is an opportunity again for like bringing Vivid Solar in to talk about how the solar panels work. Somebody who sells smart thermostats to do this. I'm a little bit cautious about trying to endorse a particular product. But these are the people that know how this stuff works too.
The solar panel, I feel like people have fatigue around that. I mean, we all get like
Agreed.
people who knock on our door. Like I get them all the time. As a VM. So maybe that's not what we want to talk about. I don't know.
So there's, as far as booth opportunities, there's the farmers market or Summerfest. Also, there's, again, the idea of having a quarterly activity / lesson where we bring in some kind of specialist to talk about, the general ecology of the area or energy or water or whatever, and then have some kind of activity or bike ride or stargazing or hike or whatever that's kind of connected with
So included in some of our plan and our activities. Okay. I think we need to start with one thing.
Sure.
I think that's good.
Yep.
Because in the past we've had a hard time staffing these things. But maybe what I'm taking from this is that I should try to isolate one energy education opportunity and try to schedule it in association with something else. Tie it into one of our activities so that it's multi-purpose.
We
The
can
third,
do social media stuff though too.
Yeah.
so we should.
Yeah.
So as part of your social media plan, and that didn't make on the agenda today.
Yeah.
But it needs to be on the agenda at some point. Is there space for that?
For sure.
Okay.
So one thing Matt and I came up with is we're gonna add an item to the agenda for, I think I called it, it's like assignment, update on assignment.
Right.
Yeah.
So that just in case it comes up.
Yeah.
We'll just have it on there.
That's good.
Say that
Thank
one more time.
So like an update for everyone to talk about their assignments.
Oh, okay.
We're just gonna have that
Just
as
as a standard
agenda
agenda.
item.
That's great. That would be helpful. Okay, will you just let me know when it's time? That you have space to do an energy thing.
Sure.
Your graphics are going to be awesome. There was universal support for your plan.
That's good, and it's open and free. I wanted to make sure that I knew which one were the first and last that you liked. If we have like a minute.
There were 4 in order,
Were they in order?
at least on my phone.
Okay. Cool.
It was the one with the little hearts on strings coming out of the lake.
You like that one, yeah.
And
then the things you love about it.
then,
Okay.
I like all of them. One of them seems to be that one Pines.
Yeah.
Right, which is nice.
Okay, that's good.
Did you guys have opinions on either of those? Did you see them?
Yeah, no, I like the first one, and I like the Valentine one. I thought that was,
I don't know.
I actually liked it too.
yeah, I thought it was just simple and cute, and rethink, take an existing.
Yeah, that would be a good one to do this month then.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Since it has a-
Yeah, I think all of these are for this month.
I think-
Well, I mean, I'll send them and see what they do. Okay.
And
I just
Debbie,
wanted to see the kind of vibe too.
you saw Debbie's message, right?
Yeah, Debbie's on the message, yeah.
Hey, and I just wanted to let you know I can hear you guys now.
Okay,
And
good.
They were, I just want to compliment you. I loved all of those things for social media, but they were outstanding. They were all fun.
Great, it was super fun. That's what I did during a boring meeting at work today. Wait, they might be.
I was just gonna say, it's recorded now. You know.
I dual stream. What did you call it? Multi-purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Multi-processing,
Multi-processing.
multitasking. So,
Hey Debbie, one thing we were asking you before, but you're having a trouble with the connection. Do you know if you have your assignment for the year?
I believe I'm staying on. I have not heard any different. And
We're really-
so, and can I just say something? I know there was a lot of things related to the planning commission about now we're on a witch hunt. We are not. And I just want you to know, all of you guys are doing a great job. It's not a matter of, I just think the planning commission there was the State Street Master Plan and there was some sort of fear that they would sabotage it. So I thought it was unfounded, but I want you to know, boards and commissions, you're doing great. We're not taking people off. And I will fight tooth and nail that we have great representation across all of our commissions. So I just want to know, thank you. It's unfortunate, and we had another commissioner, Ross Spencer, who also resigned. And so.
Thank you for your support, Debbie.
I've got a list of principles if we would like to.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if we'd hit a pause.
We're
Sorry.
almost there.
Okay.
I just have one more thing to share on energy, if it's all right, which is that the third thing that was suggested was for us to try to do something with household services. So the three suggestions that came up were, could the city do something with subsidized insulation? Could they do something with subsidizing energy use audits? Or something with infrared imaging to look at drafts or leaks. And I think that's something to look into. It would involve working with the city staff to see if we can come up with a way to actually finance that.
I think the city already participates in the heat program or something like that, where again, we'll have to double check, but I think the city does some subsidies for low income housing, energy efficiency upgrades, or there's like the emergency program, where, insulation or roofing or whatever, but I think they might have an existing program, but I don't know how robust that funding is.
Do you have a way of finding out information and passing it on to the?
I can send an email right now to somebody that, if she doesn't know, she probably does know actually. But yeah, I will do that right now.
That even better if we have something that the city participates in that no one's doing. we can just market it.
Yeah, the infrared stuff would make it a really cool social media post.
So, just to summarize, energy priorities for the year, do something with energy education, including social media, and looking for another kind of hands-on opportunity. Something in partnership with the city in terms of a service that people can take advantage of. And then third, looking for people that are really good at this, the business level, to see if they have an interest in being a mentor for them. So those are my 2022 priorities.
Sounds great.
Cool. Okay, back to you.
Okay, thanks, sorry. I mean, mostly you provided the lovely language, you speak poetry. Here's what I have drafted up. One of the greatest natural resources over which we have collective stewardship is Utah Lake. We urge the city of Orem to pass a resolution prior to legislative action on the lake that supports the following principles. 1, preserving strong local influence over decision-making related to the lake. 2, ensuring ecological integrity. 3, exercising deep caution with respect to residential and commercial development, including the creation of any islands dedicated to such development. 4, pursuing opportunities for residents to enjoy the lake in ways that minimize ecological harm. 5, promoting local public access to the lake. 6, utilizing scientific processes and information. Something like that?
I love it.
Okay. Do we want to go even stronger on this, exercising deep caution? Probably not.
No.
That's probably enough.
It's probably pretty strong.
And pursuing opportunities, let's see. I think, yeah, I added the science one because I remembered Provost's resolution. It was all about science, and I think that's important, actually. And I went with preserving strong local influence over decision-making instead of, I thought, well, promoting control over decision-making, but I thought that sounds a little too strong. I thought strong local influence is an okay formulation. Control sounds like, I mean, because local communities don't control the lake. It actually belongs to the state, or a lot of authority with respect to the lake resides in the state. So claiming otherwise would be false. So preserving strong local influence over decision-making is the way I went. Okay.
Any other language?
I wondered if we want to include something about the taxation burden of local communities.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe that's not, the provost didn't have anything like
No.
that.
Yeah.
Well, Provost wasn't specifically on the Utah Lake Authority bill.
Yeah, right. It was more on the
It was
islands.
on more, yeah.
And this one is kind of on both, right? I mean, we're addressing both here, right? We're without making much. I mean, they are linked together.
Yeah.
We lost
We
it.
lost Debbie.
Yeah, we lost Debbie. I was sad because I wanted to see if she was okay with those principles. So, I don't know.
Maybe that's good.
I think
Leave it
maybe
there.
avoid the tax
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
Because I mean, really, if opponents wanted to kill it, they should point out the taxing authority of this body. But
Are you ready to make a resolution? For us to vote on?
yes, I move that we adopt that particular resolution as I just read.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That resolution passes. Motion
Okay.
passes.
So
Okay, and you will.
I will
email
send
that
this
to
to you
Rachel
and Matt.
If you could just do it to the whole group.
Okay, I will do that right now.
Including Debbie.
Yes, good. I will reply to an email and give it a new subject line so we aren't confused too much.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is Community Sustainability Awards. Darren, you and I are on deck to discuss that. I'm hoping we can do that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions though, since we wanted to do this in the first quarter. I know that you met with the Clean Fuels guys last year. Are you at a point where you have information that will lead you to recommend them for a business award, or do we need to do further work on that?
I probably should do a little bit more work on that. Yeah.
Is that something you could do?
Yes.
In February?
yes, I can do this, yes.
Um,
Yeah, I think I need that.
I think that our awards priorities for the year is that we want to expand to both residential and business awards. Last year, we had a small business and a large business. We could do that again this year, or we could just have one business if needed. There's also suggestion that we don't have to be restricted to residential business, that we could also think about schools or government buildings or things like that. And a suggestion that we create yard signs for residential award winners. And I'm going to commit to speaking with the Beautification Commission. I'm learning about them from their awards and seeing if we can team up on the low water award. Or the Design Speak Award of Best Architecture. So for this month, what I was going to do is ask Pete, maybe you can help with this story. I was going to see if we can post on more Instagram, a nomination invitation for businesses, organizations, and residents with a deadline of something like February 21st, something like that, as President's Day, and see if we get any nominations that we can consider. Which might give us enough time to evaluate the nominations and maybe third meeting, March 15th, and then vote up boards at that point. Is that a good way to solicit nominations, or are there other channels we should go?
Yeah.
I think that's how we did it last year.
Last year, remember we had an intern.
Oh, you're
He
right.
developed a survey.
That's
with
right.
Qualtrics. And I don't know if we need to go down that route necessarily, but I think we need to get out through all the city channels.
Yeah.
And I'd like to do it this coming week.
Like next week.
Next week. So I'm wondering if I give you some language, would you be willing to
Yes.
to make something?
Yeah.
And we need a place for it to go, a nomination to go.
Right.
Maybe we could use our Qualtrics. I don't know. What do you think? Like if I want to nominate somebody, how do I?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Do you want to use the same Qualtrics or a different one?
I would want to edit it if we use it.
Yeah, if you think you have criteria, you probably have Qualtrics, right? Or I can do it. Yeah, just send me like the type for this social media post, like title of the word. Yeah.
But then, so when they see the social media post, how do they get to the nomination? I can't remember how we did that.
You just do a Google form, do you know?
Yeah, true. I don't know if there might be room in the printed newsletter that's going to go out in March. Oh wait, we wanted it in February. I'm not sure when, but I know that the newsletter is coming out soonish, and that goes to every household.
Who's in charge of the newsletter? Is it Pete?
Yeah, communicate. The one for February came out today.
Right, as far as the email one. But there's like, I think twice a year they send home.
Oh, that would be Pete.
Okay. So anyway, I'm not sure when that one goes out, but.
Maybe given our timeline, we should just use social channels to see if we get anything. I do feel like that we have to do some investigative work with the nominations, see if we can get behind them.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Would you be okay with like the 25th, which is a Friday? Because then if they post it, later next week, I don't know.
yeah. I want to give us enough time to do our due diligence before the 30th. Maybe the 23rd or something. I think that gives us a week.
Okay.
This can be in flux if we have RGB.
Yeah.
So why don't I work on language? I'll also check in with Pete to see what his preferred mechanism is for a link. Because if I see something on Instagram, I don't know how to.
Oh, and make captions.
You can't
can,
link
like,
to it,
put it out.
Yeah.
The caption.
You have to link in bios on Instagram. And that reduces the amount of linking that happens. So you have to put the link not in the message itself, but in the, you have to first of all click on the sponsor and then you see a link. That's how Instagram works.
But the people who are familiar with Instagram are accustomed to
Right.
that.
Yes, they are familiar with
They
it.
know how to.
And Facebook is more straightforward.
Say Facebook's more straightforward. Yeah, I mean, this is done all the time on Instagram.
Right.
It's not a high barrier. It is a barrier for people who don't use it much, but yeah, a lot of people are dedicated users and like, okay, I just click on the sponsor and then I see the link.
Okay, so I think we need a visual. And I think we need to have very few words. And so we can put on the form. So I'll just come up with a few words. If you can start brainstorming a visual,
Sure.
that would be.
What's the title of the award?
It is the,
Yeah, I need to look it up. It's just,
we
yeah.
put it on our.
On the awards. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's make sure we do get the same language. Every year we come up with a different award title. This year it is the Good Job Cleaning Award.
And so, Darren, that means that you're on to assess that business prior to.
Yes, I am going to, I just made a note to myself, I will call them tomorrow, actually.
Okay, excellent. Anything you wanted to add on this agenda item?
Me, no, thank you, Quinn, that all sounds very good.
Okay, swap. We're on swap.
We're on swap.
Okay, I had a meeting with Bren and Christy last week. Earlier this week.
Rin and Christy.
Christy Snyder. And the current plan, so the cleanup runs for 4 weeks, April through the first week of May.
This is the dumpster. cleanup? Okay.
And so Monday through Saturday for 4 weeks, Palisade, and then it goes to somewhere else, and then I think Nielsen Grove, and then the 4th week is back at Palisade. So 1st and 4th are at Palisade, and then 2nd and 3rd are at some other parts. And so the suggestion was to try it out 1 week. Well, he first asked, he's like, can we do it like the whole week? And I'm like, I can't staff that many volunteers to do that. So I agreed to do 1 day on the first Saturday. So it's April 16th or 17th or something like that, that first Saturday. So from like 8 to 2. And the idea is, so, you come in, if you just have stuff to dump, then you can go to the dumpsters on the right, or you can go over to the pavilion where we'll be hosting the free swap. And so we'll have signs out. They're going to put information about that. I got to get information to them to add to the newsletter that will be going out, the physical newsletter that will be going out next month. That will have information about the cleanup and also about this new partnership with the free swap. And we'll just, again, try it that one time and see how, how that goes, what the response is, and we might have some, we'll just explore how that goes. Hopefully we get some participation and people can recognize that there's a better option than throwing it away. And another thing I asked was, I said I wanted to create some kind of lawn signs, bilingual lawn signs that demonstrate the environmental benefit that comes from supporting the food swap. So, some water facts, about the textile industry and how much water is used and pollution and that kind of thing, vitamins and contributing to that, fuel and pioneering ingenuity of reuse and the benefits of community gatherings and sharing and that kind of thing. So I mentioned that, as far as like passive education, when people are just walking around, you can have this there. And I said, might there be some budget? And he said that they'd probably find budget for any sort of signs. So I will start mocking up some signage if anybody has language that you would like to add to those signage, please let me know. I think she wanted information as far as the newsletter stuff again. So anyway, that was.
That's great. It feels like you have the right amount of runway to get it right with marketing, because I think the marketing is going to be the hardest piece here.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to do with the stuff that doesn't get taken.
Normally what we do at the end of events is we take it to local donation centers or, you know, Savers or TI or any kind of home stuff we'll take to Habitat. And then occasionally at the end of events, I've had to take like a mattress or a box spring to the transfer station, which then comes out of our budget, personal budget, which because we don't have budget. So the city said that they could give some more like dump passes so that I wouldn't have to pay for this.
Okay, that's great.
So that's a beneficial partnership for me, and hopefully it's beneficial for the city to not be sending as much to the landfill, but the city wants to pay for it, but it gets shared around the community first, and that's hopefully win it.
Are you familiar with the Buy Nothing movement?
Mm-hmm.
So as far as I can tell, I'm the only one in the Orem Buy Nothing group online.
Oh, really?
No, there's like an Orem East one. I'm in it. It's super hectic.
Is it?
You give us stuff away all the time.
Well, when I signed up, it just asked me where it was, and it said Orem.
Oh, really?
And there has been no activity on the Orem Buy Nothing.
Oh, no.
So maybe there's an Orem East one. that I should be part of.
Let me
Is that like a Facebook
Spell
group?
Orem correctly.
see. Buy Nothing Orem East. 555 members. I post stuff that goes on like an hour, yeah.
Maybe it goes on Facebook. It's not a big app. We're talking about.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
That's half the thing these days is figuring out which,
Platform,
yeah, what
yeah.
platform people use, yeah.
I give stuff away. I get stuff all the time on
Yeah,
here.
that's awesome.
Okay, so this is a
I'll have to
Facebook.
sign that.
Yeah, the Facebook group.
Yeah,
Buy Nothing Orem East.
there
That's
is,
because I live close to here.
there,
It'll tell you you're bound.
Mm.
There's probably other ones.
okay. I think the reason I'm not on that is because it's so bad. But there is an app that has circles.
Yeah.
Buy Nothing, and I think
Yeah.
it must have not.
This must be.
But that,
Yeah.
but your free swap obviously should connect with things like that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Anything else on that, Sarah?
Not this time.
I'm surprised you're on.
My life has been contracted a lot lately, so,
How's it going?
okay.
Sorry. Don't mean to ask a personal question.
Yeah.
We'll stop the recording.
We've got one of them.
You have an update on city council outreach, Darren, but before we get there, do we have a date for our presentation to the city council? For our annual report?
I do not know when that is. I'll make a note. I'll send Matt an email and he can get back to you tomorrow.
It's typically in March, right? I believe, Sarah.
So I think in general, because we want to get the awards done by that time, I think that was the goal. Later in March probably be better for us so that we could actually have the awards at the end. But
I think that's when we've done before, like the second city council meeting in March.
You can see if it's already on the agenda.
And we need to decide how we want to report. Sarah's been involved in that. Darren, you've been involved recently. Do we have any preferences in terms of our format for reporting, or the roles that each of us plays from that?
We've typically done a brief PowerPoint in the past that takes 5 to 7 minutes. Is that right, Sarah?
Sarah, you put it together every year.
Yeah, Sarah has put it
I
together.
think I did half of last year's.
And you know, I think they prefer, you know, just short and sweet and leave a little bit of time for questions.
Make the city look good.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to do it this year?
I am happy to help. I think that I don't know that it matters much who does it.
Yeah.
I always prefer not to do anything.
But, I mean, you know, you're,
Tuesday evenings are actually very hard for me. I have a
You
class
have a
Tuesday
class.
evening, yeah. So I probably physically can't be there.
What time?
But I could, it's a prep class for my study abroad, and they put those in the evenings. And, I mean, I could maybe miss a thing, but I tell you what, I would be happy to help put together some PowerPoints, but I'm not sure I can be there. Yeah.
Could we start with your skeleton of a PowerPoint?
Yeah.
You put the stuff in that you want in there, and then pass it around.
Okay.
And then if you have stuff, Hillary, that you, as part of your stewardship, that you wanted to throw in there, and then Darren will put your stuff in, and my stuff in, and then let's just aim, we can follow up with this on our next meeting. But let's aim to have that done by a week in advance of our city council meeting. So, let's say our city, I don't know when our city council date will be. Oh, I do have a request, if possible, which is that I'm out of town on the 22nd of March. So, if we need to do it that day, I'm gonna have one of you guys present.
What time is the city council?
6 o'clock.
or what if it were pushed to the first city council meeting in April? Robert. It's not too far.
If you can just find out what the dates are available and let me know.
Yeah, I am sending Matt an email. I'm gonna ask him to send that to you tomorrow.
Yeah, just don't tell us when, if you can give us a choice, that'd be better. But if we have to do it a certain date, then one of us is sure.
I am pretty sure they're all scheduled. All the commissions are sent at different dates.
Okay. I may need help if it's, we lost your connection. All right. She's trying hard though.
Yeah, that's sweet.
I know.
Very nice.
I'm just gonna say we're wrapping up. Darren, do you have any reports from the city council outreach?
Not really. I would just note, I sent both of you this note, but what we said last year is the city of Orem congratulates name here for leadership in preserving natural resources. So I think if we call it a Natural Resources Leadership Award, it would be a nice title for it. Is that okay? Natural Resources Leadership. We sort of like leadership because nobody's perfect. We didn't want to call it something that implied that they were doing a perfect job or whatever. I can't remember what other words we came up with, but that they are a leader. That seemed something that businesses would like. and anyway, so that's the name of it. I have nothing really to report. You heard earlier that for some reason I enjoy talking to politicians, and they are not averse to talking to me for some reason. I just email them and they actually call me back and stuff. I don't understand it. But I talked to Mary Young briefly about these issues. I already told you on email that I talked to, I can never remember her name, the new city Lene. I'm so bad at that name, I don't know why. And I talked to Representative Brammer. I just talked to people and everything's going good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Really appreciate that. That's really awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a role I've fallen into here, and I kind of enjoy it actually.
We have some minutes from January 6th that were sent out by Rachel. And again, most of it is links to the recording. I recently discovered, as I was listening to Planning Commission online, that all of our, I think we are the commission that probably has more archives of recorded meetings than anybody else.
Yes.
So,
And number one is something.
and we actually have people who listen. So I think our last meeting had 10 people who were going to listen.
Really?
I'm sure they didn't listen to the whole thing. But, if you are listening now, thank you.
Thanks.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
So everyone was present last time, and we appointed roles for next year, and we talked about our goals in the plan for 2022. And that's what's on the minutes from last time. Are there any concerns about the minutes?
No.
Can I get a motion to approve?
I so move.
I second.
All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. I move that we adjourn until our next meeting in March.
I was second, I was gonna say, I was gonna second, but like,
Just kidding.
Did someone second?
Yes.
Sarah.
Sarah seconded. Okay, and that meeting is scheduled for March 3rd, 5 p.m. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you, Rachel.
Yes, thank you, Rachel.
We are so lucky to have you.
I'm happy. I like this commission.
good.
We have a few things that came up today that we can just put on our draft agenda for next.
Yes, I have discussion of annual city council updates, the awards
Consideration.
and the committee assignment. I'll change them.
Yeah. And do you want some time on the agenda next time to talk social media?
Oh,
See
yeah.
how it's going and walk us through your plan.
Also, the Youth Earth Day Art Contest.
Our Earth Day Art Contest, which is our longest tradition.
I hope it keeps
So
going, but.
we can keep track of those, put them on our agenda. And then I'll add things.
Morocco and Spain.
Are you still going to Morocco?
I was planning on it, but my flight was complicated. So. Anyway.